Hello, welcome to Epiphany number 51. Run your business on a weekly schedule. What that means is many of us come from other organizations, whether it's in financial services or other companies, sales organizations, and most of the time they run things on a monthly schedule. Contests are monthly, the recognition is monthly, and there's nothing really wrong with monthly, but after 28 years in this business, as I'm recording this video and being in sales management and easily 25 to 26 of them, and having fortunate enough to have developed some very successful people. Well, they did it themselves, but also a lot of people that didn't make any money and weren't successful. And one of the things that I've noted is that the ones that are successful, even if they do it consciously or unconsciously, they run their business on shorter cycles than a month. And the idea behind that is that it's a psychological thing. It's like if a month is too long, right? Because if you have a contest or you just have the simple recognition that's based on a monthly basis, or maybe your manager said, let's do some goal setting, and you break your activity on a monthly. The challenge with monthly, it's better than quarterly and better than annually. But if you on the fourth day of the month, or the 12th day, or even on the 19th day, because in your mind you still have a long time to go before you have another plus week, 3.5 weeks to go before this deadline hits, it doesn't get you off the couch. But if it's Tuesday and you're running your business on a weekly basis, which should be Monday through Sunday, that Sunday's looming. So it's a psychological trick, but it works. I promise you it works. Now, you could make the argument that one day is even better, but I do think that overdoes it a little bit. You have to check some of your activity on a daily basis. Like you should be prospecting 1 to 4 brand new people every single day. You should be setting 2 to 4 appointments a week. So that means at least one every other day. But basically, the week is really almost the perfect schedule. And one of the things that Art Williams did, who was the founder of A.O. Williams, it became a successful company, then obviously went downhill. But one of the things he said is he had certain goals during the week, Monday through Friday night. And it was a certain number of appointments he'd have to do, certain number of closes. I can't remember what they were, but the goals he had. And he did it very simple. If he had reached that goal by Friday night, then Saturday and Sunday he would take off for his family. If he didn't reach his goal, then he would not take off Saturday and work. And if he still didn't reach it, on Sunday he'd go to church, but after church he'd go back to work. And he was his own worst enemy, or actually his own best manager, however you want to take a look at it. Now, most people don't have the discipline to be that accountable to themselves and stick to it. But still, the message there is weekly is where it's at. So on a weekly basis, you need to run your business, because it's like the old thing, if you watch the pennies, the dollars take care of themselves. If you watch your weeks, the months and quarters and years and decades will take care of themselves. But when you start thinking annually, God forbid, or even like decades, it seems like you have so much time, and one day you look up and it's gone. And you know all this, but I'm telling you, you got to change, and you've got to kind of penalize and reward yourself. I recommend taking a look at our accountability system, accountability hangout that we have. But nonetheless, you want to find a way to work for the week, and if you don't, somehow punish yourself. Aaron Hemsley, his idea, who's the psychologist that trained Nick Murray, he says have a goal like that, whether it's daily, weekly, whatever, and then if you don't reach it, write a check to your most unfavored or worst charity, right? Like a charity that supports something you have the opposite belief in. Okay, something that's 180 degrees different, right? The antithesis of whatever you believe in. You write a charity to them, right? If it's $25, $50, $100. The challenge is most of you won't actually do that. It sounds like a cool idea, but when the time comes, you won't do it. And that's okay. You've got to figure out your own way. But weekly is where it's at. And if you notice, our contests are weekly. Sometimes we'll extend it, but always in week increments. Our 50,000 master game plan, most of the numbers are based on weekly. You have to prospect between 4 and 20 people a week. You have to have 2 to 4 appointments a week. You have to produce $2,500 of revenue a week. So that gives you those numbers, okay? Even if you notice our training classes, there's 1 a week. We don't do 2. We don't do one a month. We do 1 a week. We have the posting schedule in our Advisor First community is basically weekly. Every day we have different topics, but we cycle through them weekly. That's why most topics have 52 subtopics, because it's one per week. Everything's based on week. Okay. And the idea behind a week as well is that it gives you a renewal. It gives you a refresher. It's like you can start fresh, but it doesn't let you off the hook. Another challenge with monthly is this on the negative side. Let's say you have an ambition of having a great month. And this happens on a yearly basis as well. It's happening as I'm recording this. We're in the middle of December. And I guarantee you there's people right now going through this. Here's what happens. They have certain goals for the month or for the year or for the quarter. And as it gets closer, when you get into the 75, 80, 90% of that time range attained, let's go with annual. So right now, this is being recorded in December. Let's say I have certain goals that you had for the year, maybe to win the financial independence trip, right? And you're not close. There's only two pay cycles left as of this recording. And there's no way it's going to happen. You know what the problem with that is? Now you give up the rest of the 2 weeks. Because in your mind, you say, well, I'm going to start fresh in January. And the challenge is some people start thinking like that around Thanksgiving time. Or if it's a monthly situation, at the end of the third week, you already think like that. Well, this month's a bust. I was going to do 10,000. I'm at $900. I can't do it anyway. I'll just kind of coast for a week and then restart in January. Restart in the beginning of the month. But you wasted a week into your business. It's just, right? The calendar and the week and the year is just a human invention. You don't have to wait. It's like New Year's resolutions. If you want to make a change, just make the change today. What do you got to wait till January 1st to do it? That's just a human construct. It's not even real, right? It's just, you guys know all this. So that's the challenge sometimes, because now you wasted 3 weeks, to go back to my monthly example, but now you're going to, on purpose, consciously waste a whole month because of this psychology. So I don't know if we can fix the psychology. So the alternative way to fix it, which is what I'm proposing in this Epiphany, is that instead you do weekly. Like if you're going to do that kind of thinking, I'd rather you do it on a Friday and blow off Saturday and Sunday, or God forbid on Thursday, I can't reach my $3,000 weekly goal that I have. I'm only at $400, and you blow off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'd rather you do that and start right away on Monday than in the third week of the month, blow off an entire week, or by 3 weeks left in the quarter, you blow off the rest of the 3 weeks. You follow? So that's another advantage of building your business on a weekly basis. If you fall in that trap of kind of giving up before the time period is over to refresh, at least on a weekly basis, you're not doing it as poorly, right? Because if you do it annually, I'm telling you, people around Thanksgiving times are thinking, well, it's a bust anyway. I'll just kind of recharge. I'll relax. I'll go to a bunch of movies and spend more time with the family. Nothing wrong with those things, by the way, but you can't do that. So weekly basis is really where it's at. If you start fixing that and keeping yourself accountable to it, I promise you it'll help your business. And that's even on the self-improvement side and reading and learning scripts and all those type of things. Weekly is not so frequent that it kind of drives you crazy, which I think daily can do, but it's not so long as monthly. And there's really no realistic in between weekly and monthly in our constructs. It's either weekly or then the next right jump up is on a monthly basis. So there you go. Run your business on a weekly basis.